and I'm hungry. I haven't really eaten yet, so I cannot wait to cook. So, friends, hello. If you didn't join us for the Q&A a couple weeks ago, was that last week? Was that only last week? You guys, time's just flying. I'm so excited to be at this time of year and talking with all of you about the effects of food on our well-being. And I am going to start doing something daily, probably at 5 p.m. actually, every night on Instagram to talk about some of the different questions you've had around our well-being and what it even means to kind of be in pursuit of wellness. And I shared the other night in one of these wellness classes that I saw Oprah get on the other day and say that wholeness is the new wellness, which made me giggle because I was like, okay, the whole world is now going to start calling it wholeness. And what do you know? Literally, I've seen 2 or 3 other Instagram feeds of well-known people start talking about our wholeness, not just wellness. My whole take on this time of year, though, is that it is not the time to reboot everything about yourself and stop eating everything or give everything up. Yes, okay, Laura, you're saying it too. It's driving me bonkers. Just know that it's going to get better with our next class, I hope. And it's because it's so bright outside. I don't think that the camera on my computer knows what to do with it. It's insane. It's like, see, if I sit back, it looks darker to me. Oh, see? Oh, this is crazy. So anyhow, I'll try to, I know it's incredibly distracting, you all. Yeah, I know. We didn't see the sun for a couple of weeks, but it's distracting for you all to have to do this. So anyhow, my take on wellness is that I am more of the kind of person to kind of take stock of what's happening in my life and things I like about it and things I don't like about it, and then set an intention for something that maybe I want to change, improve. And so I'm challenging all of you to do the same thing instead of waking up on January 1st, or I say it's more like February 1st by the time I really start thinking about this stuff, saying I'm giving up sugar, I'm giving up gluten, I'm giving up dairy, and I'm going to lose 15 pounds, and I'm going to figure out my hormones. It's just like, okay, what's one thing I can do today to feel better? And sometimes that's making really great food choices. I know that making good food choices always makes me feel better. Other days, it's maybe trying some form of breath work, meditation, exercise that I haven't done before. Other days, it just means going for a walk when the sun is shining and appreciating the fact that the sun is shining right now, right? So I hope that this month for all of you, whether you're joining us for the wellness workshops or not, you will just take a moment and perhaps set an intention for one thing that you would like to improve in your life as it relates to your health. And so today's cooking class, I hope, will be great motivation to do that. I think I've taught you how to make a Thai curry before. I could be wrong because it's all one big mishmash in my head these days, you guys. But it is a time of year where I just try to really consider adding more plants to my diet over meat. You all probably know by now that I don't have anything against meat or seafood or fish. I just am trying to really balance the amount of it I consume because I think I rely heavily on animal products, and I'm trying to use less just because from what I've read and understand, I'm consuming too much for it to be good for me. So I'm not beating myself up over it. I'm just doing meal plans where I don't have as much of it in my life, if that makes any sense to you. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to do 3 recipes. And I think I had Caitlin tell everybody, the light, you guys, the light, that we were not going to do the soup, but I'm going to show you like the quickest version of this soup ever. And so I bought this butternut squash for it to show you how to do it. I did not buy the panko to do the topping, but I also wanted to show you that I buy butternut squash sometimes already peeled and diced. It is the one vegetable where I give myself permission to buy it already diced, because you can roast it whole and scoop out the flesh that way, and that's fine. But if you're trying to dice it so you can saute it or do something like that for a recipe, it can be really hard to peel and really hard to cut and a little bit dangerous if you don't have a good knife because of the shape of it and the size of it. So if you see it like this, I give you full permission to buy it like that, already done in the store. So we're going to make the Thai curry first, but while we're making the Thai curry, I'm going to let the butternut squash roast in the oven. Here's the other thing I'm doing. I'm only kind of like half following my recipes because I just read through the Thai curry again, and I was like, there's an easier way to make this than what I've taught everybody. We're not going to blanch the green beans. We're going to live on the wild side. We're going to save some time. We're going to talk about recipe additions or changes, and we're going to have some fun with it. And feel free to ask me questions as we go. As always, I like to know, is anybody trying to cook along today? Are you going to do the curry with me, or the salad, or the soup? Oh, Robin, way to go. Okay. Great. What we'll do for the salad is probably focus on making the dressing, and I'm going to show you guys how to seed a pomegranate with my new way of doing it, my hack that I showed on Instagram because I'm obsessed with it. Oh, way to go, Diana. That's amazing. Okay, good. So let's get this butternut squash in the oven, friends. And I'm going to pull this table back. I'll go between these. I'm going to get exercise by doing squats today, by standing like this while after I'm prepping, so you can see my face when you're asking me questions. Okay. Lori, good for you. That's awesome. Okay. So to get the squash in the oven, I'm only going to do this. It's so funny because I do so many recipes. I'm like, is this one? Did I give you the one where I told you to put shallot with the butternut squash? I don't know, because I'm not reading that recipe, because I'm going to show you how to cook. My back. Thank you, Diana. You're so sweet. I've got a little garbage bowl going here. I'm going to need some garlic cloves for the curry as well. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to crush a garlic clove or two, and I'm going to put them on the sheet pan with the butternut squash. I'm breaking the skin. Okay. And then these are huge cloves of garlic. I'm going to crush it again. And, oh, it smells so good. Is anybody watching, by the way, football or sports this weekend? We have a lot of sports happening in this house. My son, Connor, is obsessed with the Jacksonville Jaguars, only because when he was little, he loved their uniforms. And he has remained loyal, even though they've usually been terrible. And so the funniest part is that they're in the playoffs. I don't know if he thinks they're going to win today, but they had one of the biggest upsets of all time last week. And the 49ers play the Cowboys, right? So that's going to be fun. Our friend's son is Cowboy obsessed, so we've got that to watch tomorrow. That's going to be fun. And I root for the 49ers. So here's what we're going to do. For the squash, I'm just literally drizzle. You know how I like to drizzle my olive oil. Salt. I'm out of kosher salt, believe it or not. I used a lot of it in my bathtub. And it works great if you're doing salt baths. So I'm using Himalayan salt, which is really good for you. I was using it on my new smoothie and soup project I worked on. Just making sure it's all in there. Should we put some fennel seed in? I think we should. It's my favorite. You all know it's my favorite. Let me just bust a move into my spice drawer. Fennel seed, oh fennel seed, where art thou? Fennel seed. Can you imagine if I was out of fennel seed? I'd throw a tantrum. Okay, let's just put a little one here. Fennel seed, I think I've read, is good for nausea. I've just been obsessed with it for years now. I'm a creature of habit. Giants today, Niners tomorrow. Yay! I didn't even know the Giants were playing today. I haven't followed baseball at all recently. Yay! I'm so glad you like the fennel. I did, Jenny. It's in the email with the link. It's got the grocery list and the recipes. Did she put it in there? Let me know if you didn't get it. Maybe she didn't. I think she did. And then one more. Let's roast this for like 20 minutes. Just a second, just having a little oven complication due to my disorganization. There we go. Okay, I am gonna do a little steam. I'm gonna do the timer. Oh yeah, it's only on 350, so I'll let it go for 20 minutes. We'll check it in 20 minutes, okay? Oh, good, it's there. Okay, yeah. Sometimes I'll only cook, a couple of the recipes, but Caitlin will include all of them. So here's what we're gonna do for the Thai curry. As I got smart today, I'm gonna prep the ingredients with you. Let me just dampen my paper towel so my cutting board doesn't go flying away on me. And I am going to, like I said, not blanch my green beans, okay? So we're going to do a couple things differently today just to show you some shortcuts. And I want a bowl to put these in so I can move them directly to the cooktop when I'm ready. So aromatics. And by the way, if you don't like tofu, that's totally cool. I try to use it a couple times a year and a couple times a year. That sounds hilarious. A couple times a month instead of going towards meat. Hodo soy is here in Oakland. It is absolutely phenomenal. I've been to the factory where they make it and met the owner, and it's just spectacular. And I loved it. So I really, really like tofu for a couple reasons. First off, it absorbs the flavors of other things that you're cooking with. So it's a really beautiful background for that. Plus, you get, let's talk about protein, no cholesterol, very low carb, some fiber, 14 grams of protein. That's a lot. Calcium, 20% of your calcium, 15% of the daily value of your iron. Yay. It even has potassium. So we are going to use this today instead of chicken, instead of beef, instead of shrimp. I have shrimp in the fridge, and that would be delicious as well. You could certainly add shrimp. So if you're not into tofu, that's cool. But if you like it, I highly recommend you try Hodo soy. They sell it at Safeway. They sell it at Whole Foods. They sell it all over the place here. Oops, as I take it swimming. So in this recipe, I've got green beans. I've got tofu. I think I'm going to use eggplant as well. I bought this on purpose just to dice. But first, we're going to get our aromatics going in the pan. So let's do this. We're going to have a little bit of garlic. I'm going to just mince. And then we're going to use some really interesting flavors in this. We're going to use fish sauce, which is anchovy, which basically, if you're used to Italian cooking and you've had anchovies in your tomato sauce, you don't realize how common it is. But it gives this a depth of flavor that's really remarkable. We're going to use coconut milk. We're going to use some red curry paste, which I love. We're going to use 4 tablespoons of this red curry paste, which has red chili pepper, garlic, lemongrass, salt, shallot, coriander root, and mackerel lime peel. So good. How much is in this jar? Let's find out. 1 teaspoon, 23 divided by 3 is 8, 24. We're going to use about half of this jar of red curry paste. It's not too spicy. To answer your question, Lori, I usually do fresh garlic. You can certainly use it in the jar. I literally forget sometimes that we have convenience products out there in the world meant for us to make our lives easier. I just forget. Okay, garlic. I'm going to peel it literally with a peeler. There's some garlic in the red curry paste. but not all of it that we'll need. And then the other things I'm going to do before I start cooking is I'm going to open my cans of coconut milk so that when I go to pour them in, they're ready to go. Same with my chicken stock. I'll measure out, I believe it's a cup of chicken stock. And then it calls for 3 tablespoons of honey. I don't know what I think about that. I think that might be too much these days. I think I've changed my mind on that. So instead of grating the ginger, I'm going to chop it really finely. I do have a ginger grater. It's just this little tiny tool you use to grate it, and it basically leaves the fiber behind, which is great if you have one. But let's pretend I don't and see what we think when I just chop it really finely. It's going to go in at the same time as the garlic and the chili, the red curry paste. So I'm going to put all of these things in one little container. And then we'll slice our onion and our pepper. Who likes a lot of heat? Let me know. Soy-free options to replace the tofu. Absolutely. Bonnie, you can just use a bunch of other vegetables. You could use sweet potato. You could use a yellow potato diced. You could use chickpeas if you'd like and just stir them in at the end. Shrimp, white fish cubed, chicken. The world is your oyster. Okay. Just get a couple little things to put this in. Oh, here's my favorite tool, my bench scraper. So let's put it in there. And like I said, I'm going to put the curry paste in that bowl as well so that we don't have so many things to carry over to the cooktop. So by the time I start cooking, you guys, it's just really going to be about adding ingredients to the pan, okay? I've already got a pot going for my rice noodles that go with this too. And I think I called brown rice noodles. You certainly don't need to use brown rice. I just got the white ones. That's all they had at the store yesterday. Okay, let's talk about coconut milk. I like full fat coconut milk. And it's just like has a ton of flavor. The fat, it contains the good fats we want in our bodies. Light coconut milk, when you find it in a can, does not mean it's got like light sugar-free ingredients added. It's just got less fat in it. So it has less flavor actually. But I wanted to show you both. These are both unsweetened. I'm looking at their dietary things. Total fat, 5 grams and 1/3 cup in the light coconut milk. And in this one, it's got 12 grams. But none of it is a trans fat. It is saturated. So you don't want to, like drink pounds of this every day. But for the amount we're going to have in a serving, I don't worry about it, okay? Now I need a cup of chicken stock. They're fun to just muse together today, friends. See that darn light? I am over it. We are going to up my game at House of Haas. I promise you. And then I think it calls for like 1/4 or 1/3 cup of fish sauce, along with a couple tablespoons of honey, which I am not going to use. Oh, and lime juice. Let's get our limes juiced. I've got a couple limes right here. I think it calls for 1/3 cup of lime juice. I'm going to do my favorite trick where you cut an end off and you stabilize it, right? And then I'm going to cut little triangles top down, leaving the core, the really fibrous core alone. And then you have these cute little cheeks of lime juice, which squeeze really well. You can extract a lot of juice from them. Pretty cool, right? Boop-a-doo-doo. This is my favorite part of the day when I get to cook with you all. By the way, feel free to ask questions in the actual question box if I'm cooking and I don't see them. And so I'll come back to your questions, okay? I'm going to do one more lime. I'm even keeping my little station clean like a professional. I guess people can change. Let's do one more lime. And then we'll get our green beans prepped and our other aromatics prepped. If any of you did the breath work, I'd love to hear what you thought. If you felt good or not. or if it felt weird. I see you with extra heat coming in on there. Noted. Okay. Yummy, yummy, yummy. All right, we got that. Now let's get our curry paste. Let's see what I can scoop it out with is the question. Will this fit in there? You liked it. Who is that? KQ. Yay. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Nope, that doesn't fit. Friends, do what I say, not what I do. Do as I say, right? Okay, about half the jar of this. Like I said, this is not too hot. It's hot enough, but it's not like mind-blowing hot. Okay. If I use something, I'm going to get it off my counter. Isn't that exciting? Okay, so I've got this. I'm going to build my little mise-en-place over here. I don't need a can opener anymore. I'm going to have my fish sauce over there, my lime juice, my stock. Is that chicken stock? It looks dark, which is great, but yeah, it is. Wow, it's just a different brand I'm trying. Okay. And then coconut milk. Friends, part of like wellness, I kid you not, is making cooking a pleasure. And when you take the time to prep your ingredients before you start cooking, it makes the whole process so much easier. It's like meal planning, right? These are things that give us peace. And so I'd like to encourage you to keep doing them. Okay, I'm going to cut the tofu while I'm at it. Now, this has some moisture in it. You can certainly pat it down with paper towels, which I'll do. This is not as wet as some. This is firm tofu. If you buy medium or soft tofu, it's a lot. It gives off a lot more liquidy. It's meant to be pureed or used in forms where it will crumble easily. So the firm tofu will hold its shape better for you in things like braises, like we're going to do. But let's just put a paper towel to it to make sure. Yeah, there's barely any coming off of this. This is good tofu. You know what, Lori? There are so many brands of fish sauce. I usually just look for, most of them are naturally gluten-free. Red Boat's one of my favorites. It's very readily available, but you can use any of the ones you find. There really aren't that many brands floating around there. So go for it. Okay, I've got my tofu, which will be a last minute add. Got my coconut milks. And then I'm going to have to do my green beans, my onion, my pepper, and then I'll do a little bit of eggplant. Let's put the eggplant and the green beans in at the same time in this mix. So instead of blanching them, you guys, I'm just going to dice them into little pieces. And blanching's a pain in the butt, right? So I'm not going to do it today. It does make things crisp up really nicely, but considering how small I'm cutting these and the fact it's going to simmer for a while, these green beans will cook without blanching. 3 crab. I've never heard of that one. Okay. Let's just cut. And almost done. I'm just using the entire thing. Again, I'm just using my recipe as a guide today, you guys, for the method, more than like measuring everything perfectly. I'm going to use a big stock pot. And I love that. I love the flavor combination in this. And so it's fun to mix it up and use other ingredients just depending on my mood. And for some reason, I want eggplant. This is a Japanese eggplant, much thinner. The bigger ones we get, the big globe ones, can be so much wider. And usually when I buy the big ones, I end up pressing them weighing them down and letting some of the moisture come out so they're less bitter. I don't even bother doing that with these little guys. I traditionally use these a lot in Italian cooking in one of my favorite pasta sauces where I do eggplant, onions, parsley, tomatoes, smoked mozzarella. It's so delicious, but it can be really delicious in Thai and Vietnamese cooking as well. I also love them roasted. You know, when you get into Mediterranean dishes, baba ganoush, where it's smoked and grilled. So good. Okay. My knives need sharpening, guys. That'd be another great thing to do this time of year. Okay. Do all those things that, you know, help us take better care of ourselves naturally. All right, I've got my garlic and my ginger. I can get rid of that. I'm going to take another sip of my delicious coffee from my mug from Lori. Let's put these in a bowl. Oh, this recipe also calls for tomatoes. I'll probably put some in at the end. We're just going to let it rip here with veggies. Mushrooms would be delicious in this. You grow the eggplants, Lori? That's so cool. Okay, so Serrano chili, Thai chili. I'm a wimp, you guys. So this is about as good as I get. I always take the seeds out. The seeds are super hot. So let's just, let me show you, right? Can you see that? I'm going to take these seeds out. I need a paring knife for this job. One thing you need to be careful of is if you put your hands on your face a lot like I do, be so careful if you're working with peppers, because if you get this in your eyes, you're looking at a very uncomfortable experience. Just saying. I just put my hands all over the place all the time. I'm expressive, and so I have to be careful. Okay. I'm just cutting straight through this. Can you see that? I'm just kind of cutting out that center line that held the seeds. And I like a paring knife for this job. I so rarely use a paring knife because I'm usually cutting things in bigger shapes. But when you really need to manipulate something smaller and have a good control over it, there's nothing quite like a smaller knife. It's like, think of using a smaller knife, the smaller the food is that you're trying to prepare. Okay, now I'm going to cut it. When you're dicing, you want your knife blade to be longer than whatever you're cutting, so you're not having to make multiple slices down it. Okay, now let's do this. Are we ready? Yum, yum, yum. It's so fragrant. Oh, that's awesome, Lori. Okay, I just want to make sure. This is how you can tell your knife is dull when you cut and it doesn't cut all the way through, right? So it's like stopping. So now I need to run my knife through them again. Gosh darn it. Because no one wants to get a big fatty chunk of a spicy pepper all at once, unless you're a glutton for punishment. One of my sons likes really spicy food, and he had a super spicy habanero sauce yesterday and was happy as a clam. Me, not so much. Okay, we're going to have our red onion. I think I say it's sliced in this recipe, which I like instead of diced. I like to add some visual components, like change the texture up of things. So sometimes I'll slice, sometimes I'll dice. If it's a soup where you're trying to scoop everything into a small spoon, quite often I'll make things the same shape, so it's easy to scoop them up, and I'll make them pretty small. But I think I'm going to like the visual of having the slices of onion instead of the dice. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, because it's my curry, right? I can do what I want. Okay. Yeah, I can tell my knife is sharpening desperately. You guys know I don't like cutting down towards my fingers, right? So I flip it around kind of when I get to the top, and I do more of this. Always making sure that this top hand is steadying the item and that my knuckles are turned under so that if they slipped, I couldn't cut my fingers off, right? No, we don't want any accidents today either, my friends. Okay. Just cutting the root off. This is a beautiful red onion. I'm having to force my knife to put pressure on it, and that means that it's not sharp enough. It should glide. I'm going to teach you another little hack right now. Are you ready for this? It's not going to blow your mind, but it's kind of cool. Let me get my pan. Oh, the pan I want is right here. Friends, guess what? I'm putting raw onion into the cold pan. It's not going to make a big difference, okay? I promise you. Our squash might be ready. I'm going to go check that. And then I'm going to put the jalapeno or the serrano pepper along with the garlic and all these other yummy things that are going to go in together. Now, what else about this recipe is suspicious? It calls for canola oil, which means it's older than 3 years because I've changed my mind on canola oil. I don't use it anymore. I use avocado. I use olive, but not canola. So we're not going to. You can if you want. I won't tell. You don't have to tell me. But from a health perspective, it's on my bad list. Okay, let me check the squash and see if it looks golden and cooked through. That's all we're looking for. Oh, yummy. It needs more time. Hot, hot, hot. Hot. I'm going to give it 10 minutes. Okay. Are you guys ready to make some red Thai curry? I've got all of these beautiful aromatics ready to go. I've got my tofu. I've got the vegetables I want to cook. If I put in the tomatoes, those can just go in at the end, okay? So there's no worry there. Oh, this darn thing. See, it just... No, that light doesn't help. I'm going to turn this just a little bit for you, okay? And I'm going to keep bringing the pot up to the camera for you to see it. I think that's the easiest thing to do when I'm on the cooktop. But just you wait until I have a camera above the cooktop and I can show you what I'm doing over there. Isn't that exciting? It's going to be so great. I'd like to thank my friend Jorge in advance, who has insisted on helping me figure this out. Okay. I'm going to heat the oil, and the onions are already in the pan, and that's okay. It's not going to mess it up because I didn't put the oil in first. I'm going to use olive oil because that's what I have. If you want something more neutral tasting, you can certainly go with avocado. Like I said, I've got Himalayan salt today, which is going to work just fine as well. I have my pot of water going for my rice noodles. We'll cook those while the curry. You guys, what's up with me? Thai curry. I saw someone talking about having problems after a concussion and you can have flare-ups. I feel like I'm in a continual state of flare-up with my brain. Okay, I'm going to just move these away a little bit. And then let's do that. And here's what I want to do. I want to make sure that the onion is soft before I add all these beautiful aromatics, the garlic, the ginger, the serrano chili, and the curry paste, Thai red curry paste. And then after that, I'm going to add the eggplant and the green beans for just like a minute and let those cook a little bit before I add my liquids, okay? And then we'll have the lime juice, the chicken stock or the vegetable stock, the coconut milk, the fish sauce, and we're going to let that simmer for about 10 minutes. And we'll cook the rice noodles while that happens. And then we'll start to taste it. and we'll decide what else we want to add to it, okay? So it's that simple. And this is a recipe that will taste really good the next day, the evening of. It's a great one to make ahead, okay? Let's get a spatula, how about? And let's see what happens when I turn this light on. Nothing. There's just literally too much light in this house. I guess it's a good problem. Okay. Got a little salt in there with my onions. They're going to take a minute so I can continue to clean as I go. And if people have any questions, let's see. I see a question in the question box. Oh, I love that question about cutting boards. Thank you so much for asking that, Fenna. This is a cutting board called Epicurean. They are made from a company that recycles fiberglass materials from skate ramps. They also make furniture, like outdoor chairs that are super cool. This one is great for your knives. Wood, plastic, the Epicurean boards are fine for your knife blades. Things that sometimes they'll sell pretty looking cutting boards that are not meant to cut on glass, marble, slate, anything that's like a presentation board, that's really hard on your blades. Those are really hard on your blades. So wood works well, plastic works well, and then these Epicurean boards, which are sold at Crate & Barrel, Williams-Sonoma, they're sold, I think, on Amazon. They're kind of all over the place, but they're very reasonably priced, and they last forever. They're great. I'm so glad you asked that question. I'm just going to rinse these, dry them, and put them back up, my friends. We'll probably use them again, but it's just nice to have them where they belong, you know? Put my fennel seed away. I'm just keeping one eye on my onions. Nope, that's not where it belongs. In my alphabetized spice drawer, which I'm so proud of. I like to brag about it when it's actually alphabetized. Let's give these a stir. I just want these to be soft enough where they're tasty before I start adding other things to them, okay? Honey is all that we need, but like I said, I'm going to be very judicious in my use of honey today. I don't want to use too much. I'm also going to get myself something to drink besides coffee because I'm overdoing it. Let's see here. There we go. Blackberry lemonade water. Let's see how this is. A new Waterloo flavor. We'll see what I think. Is anybody cooking anything this month or doing anything for their health that they think is going to move the needle some? I'd love to hear. My screen just got cut off from all of you. Hold on one sec. Nope. What the heck? Oh, this is what I did wrong. There we are. I'm back. I can see you guys in full size now. Okay. Lori, I'd love to know what else you use those peppers for. Salsa? If you grow tomatoes as well, it feels like a natural fit, doesn't it? Especially where we live. Just seems like a common thing to do. Ooh, this smells so good. I love the smell of onions, garlic cooking, along with my other favorite smells, bacon. Bacon's a big one for me. Or veggie-based soups. Oh, terrific. I'm so glad. You know, a chili pepper would be delicious in this butternut squash soup I'm making as well. So you could roast a pepper on the sheet pan with it. Just like you could slice some shallots, or I got the garlic. You could grate some ginger over it, and you wouldn't even have to really cook that. It'd be amazing. Yum. Now, You all know my trick about deglazing, right? That they always say, oh, don't add liquid to the pan if you're cooking mushrooms or onions and you're deglazing. But if there are any spots, any hot spots in your pan that get too brown, before you're done cooking everything, just add a little bit of liquid and scrape it up. So if I get any hot spots in here, I'm going to just add a little bit of this stock and we'll be in business. This smells incredible. So good. I also have some soup spinach. I want to remind everybody, I have so many free recipes on my website at amandahaascooks.com. My cauliflower kale soup is one of my absolute favorite soups of all time. It's delicious. I mean, it's ridiculously delicious. These are still not quite cooked enough. They still have a little bit of a bite to them. And if it's the case now, it's pretty much going to be like that, even when they cook with liquid in the pan, okay? It's hard to caramelize things once the liquid's been added. Oh, how great. Oh my gosh, you grow eggplant, bell peppers, tomatoes, and an herb garden. Wow. I feel you. Lori, my favorite pasta sauce, like I said, of all time, has eggplant in it, and it's absolutely delicious. Just a little bit, you guys, to scrape up the bottom. You don't need to keep adding more fat to the pan, so it doesn't take more olive oil or avocado oil or whatever you have. Patience. Not my middle name. See, oh my goodness. I wonder what happens. Let's do a little test. If I open these blinds, let's see what happens to the camera. Is that better? Maybe? Hold on. Let's do one more. How is that? Better? Let me know. I don't know. I'm going to get the butternut squash out of the oven while we keep waiting on these onions. Let's give it another stir, shall we? Yum! They smell so good. So does the squash. Delish, right? We're going to just let that hang out. We want to make sure it's soft enough, yep, to be pureed. Yummy. Yummy, yummy. Okay, the onions are looking really good. So I'm going to add those aromatics, and then I'm going to add my green beans and my eggplant. Actually, let's add the green beans and eggplant first, because I want to give them a second to cook before the garlic can burn when you add it to the pan. So we're going to coat these with the oil. Can you see vegetables flying out of the pan? That's so me. It's crazy. Let's just give them a minute, shall we? A little bit more salt, too. Now, the fish sauce has a ton of salt in it. So I'm not going to salt this soup very aggressively, this curry, until I'm done, because we want to be able to balance it with the fish sauce. It's like soy sauce, you know? Let's look at how much sodium it is. 1 tablespoon has 60% of your daily sodium in it. So that's what I mean. We don't need much. Okay, this smells incredible. In goes all of my yummies. Serrano chili, garlic, ginger, and the red curry paste. Boom, baby. Now we want this curry paste to get mixed in really nicely so there aren't clumps of it. And it's going to go from being kind of orangey to brick red as it cooks. And you'll smell the garlic start to cook. You just don't want to see it burning. Oh my gosh, it is so fragrant, you guys. Yum. That bang bang of the spoon. Let's give it like another minute. I'm gonna put my dishes in the dishwasher. I'm kind of like patting myself on the back today. All right. Feel free to let me know if I'm screwing up my own recipe, but I think I got it. I'm gonna do the lime juice just to deglaze a little bit. The stock. Now let's crank this up. Here's the best part. Even if I screw it up, I know that all of these things going in together are going to be delicious. Could you use anchovies, Ginny? You could. It's going to be. You could. Here, I'll give you a real answer in a second. I'm going to make sure all the cream is out of that yummy thick coconut milk. You would want to put the anchovy in when you're cooking the garlic so that you can break it down with a spatula, right? So in terms of how much you would need, I don't know what the even amount would be, right, compared to the fish sauce, but absolutely. Fish sauce is literally just dried anchovy. Isn't that crazy? Okay. Now, we're going to bring this to a simmer, and I'm going to add a little bit of that fish sauce. Let's see. I'm going to put it in here first. I don't know how much it calls for. 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons, a quarter cup. Let's just stir some in. And then we're going to let this whole thing hang out and simmer. And then you don't need to add the tofu right away. You can let this simmer a little bit first and then put it in towards the end, and it will still give it enough time to soak up the flavors. And like I said, if you let this cool and refrigerate it and heat it up tonight or tomorrow, it's just going to develop more and more flavor. It's going to be amazing. So I can't wait for that. Okay. Let me, I'm going to babysit it a little bit, and then we'll start the rice noodles to go with it. Okay. Here are my flying green beans. We'll get rid of those. I've also got basil out to add to it. You guys could add mint. You could add cilantro if you like cilantro. That would be delicious in here. You can make it your own. Basil's just kind of a traditional herb to put in it. Why is water so good? Any other questions while we're waiting? Got that question answered. Okay, we're good to go. Yum. The smell is amazing. Yummy. And you know, I haven't used any honey yet. I'm going to use literally probably a teaspoon or 2 tops. I like a little bit more sour. That's probably 2 teaspoons. And then we'll see what we think later, okay? Yes, I just double dipped, but no one else is going to be eating this except my kids. They're already stuck with me. Let's let this simmer. Delish. Now I just need to find the lid for it. Where have I put it? Maybe it's where it belongs. Nope, not where it belongs. This one probably fits it. Ta-da! Okay, so I still have the tofu to add to it. I'm going to add some tomatoes to it. And like I said, if you wanted to, you could add shrimp. If you'd add shrimp, I would give it, I would let it simmer and just add the shrimp for like the last 3 to 4 minutes of simmering and until it's cooked through, and then you're done. You could add other vegetables if you prefer. whatever you like. Any other questions? I've got my tomatoes that have already been rinsed. I'm probably going to have these just because I think they're easier to eat when they're cut in half. And then I'm going to get the water going for the noodles. Rice, regular rice would be amazing here. My kids like rice noodles. And so if you want to even put them directly into the Thai red curry, they're delicious in there. Or you can serve the curry on a bed of the rice noodles, whatever you prefer. But the way I cook my rice noodles is I just let them boil in salted water for a couple of minutes until they're al dente, just like you would a regular pasta made of wheat. And I drain them and rinse them with cold water because they're really sticky, okay? Yum. This place smells amazing. If you wanted to add chicken to this as well, by the way, you could add it when I added the vegetables so that it could brown on the outside for a minute or two, probably like 2 minutes before you add the garlic and the everything else. Oh, this guy's ready. Let's salt that water. Okay, now one thing I want to have ready before I start cooking is I want to have a colander ready so I can drain those noodles right away. Let me, in the cauliflower kale soup, do you use lacinato? It's a great question. I use lacinato. You could certainly use curly kale if you prefer, Lori, whatever you've got. Colander, ready to go. So I'm going to drain it as soon as these noodles are done because they cook really quickly. Okay, put this in my sink. And, yep, rolling boil here. So I bought the spaghetti thickness. It just completely depends. They have like the angel hair kind. I like spaghetti or thicker for this because the pieces of the food are bigger, right? So like if you're doing a thin sauce, it would make sense to do like the angel hair rice noodles. But for this, not so much. I'm curious what it says. Oh yeah, 3 to 4 minutes. And just like regular pasta, it says reserve a little bit of the pasta water, right? So if you're going to toss them with sauce, it makes sense. Let's see. There's like 0 fiber in these. It's just a really high carbohydrate food that doesn't really have many redeeming qualities, except they taste delicious. 8 servings per package. I don't need that much because no one else is probably eating this with me. I'm just going to cook enough to show you what it looks like, okay? And I'm going to stir these well. They need plenty of space to swim, just like regular pasta. And give it a stir. And then I'll set a timer. Siri, set a timer for 3 minutes. Okay, we're going on that. Let's turn that down. Let's add the tofu. And then cut my tomatoes. How's that? I'm going to use my favorite little serrated knife to do that. And give this a stir. And make sure my noodles are swimming around at the same time. This needs to be simmering more. Now, if you like a thicker curry, the longer you simmer it, obviously the thicker it's going to get. You'll reduce some of the liquid. Totally up to you. Or if you keep adding more ingredients and roasted veggies, you'll obviously have less liquid in it. So it's whatever you like. I think with the tomatoes in this, it's going to be a really nice texture. And then the noodles, when you pour it over the noodles, it'll soak up some of that amazing sauce too and lend a really nice flavor to it. Okay. Are we good, guys, on questions? Comments? Thoughts on recipes for this month or what you're cooking? The thing I love is that all of the ingredients in this have redeeming qualities, some sort of redeeming quality, right? Tomatoes, in you go. Gosh, this is gorgeous. I'm going to have to take a picture of this and show everybody a new version. Oh, beautiful. I want to see, I'm curious how the green beans are. Not even close. Oh, you know what, Bonnie? That is such a good point that you're bringing up. And you know what the honest truth is? When people are worried that things do or don't go together, the one thing I try to remind you of to give you extra confidence is there's no rule of thumb. What do you like, right? So, I mean, some people would be like, oh my gosh, putting a sweet potato with a tomato and where's my phone? Can't find it. An eggplant and sweet potato and a green bean and a tomato sounds totally weird, right? And then you look at a recipe from something you're not familiar with and they recommend it and you try it and you're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And so what I like to say is, what are the flavors you like? And go from there, because there are no rules, right? There are no rules. And what I might think tastes good together might be terrible to somebody else. And so when I'm trying to replace something, I like to think of the amount of ingredient I'm adding, the amount of time it will take to cook it, right? And what I think it will do along with like the base flavors of the recipes, right? So if you like curry, for example, and you've ordered it at a restaurant and you're like, I hate tofu. It's like, okay, well, what have I had in a curry that I like? I've seen green bell peppers. I've seen potatoes. I've seen chicken or shrimp. And then you can substitute, okay? And it really comes down to what you like. And if you don't like it, then you won't do it the next time, right? It's hard. The things that people say, the rule of thumb that I like, things that grow together, go together. Like seasonally ingredients that grow together, but like eggplant and peppers and tomatoes, all of those can grow in the same season. And so it's interesting because as people, farmed for their livelihood and that's how they got their food throughout the centuries, that's how they cook very often, right? And in the winter, you get potatoes, you get a lot of dark greens. And so people just automatically started putting those foods together. And that's one way to do it as well, okay? Totally up to you. I'm here to give you permission. These noodles take longer than 4 minutes. They lied. I'm going to give them like 1 more minute and drain them, okay? And then we're going to puree the soup in the blender. And then we're going to make the dressing for the salad. And I'm going to show you just how easy it is. It's crazy. What do you guys think about this time, by the way? I thought I would try something different this month by starting it earlier in the day on a Saturday for House of Haas. I don't know if it's better or worse. I also didn't want to have occupy your entire day if you were already taking the wellness workshop this morning. Just curious. I'm open to feedback. I know I want a little more salt because I didn't use as much fish sauce as was called for. You like it, Diana? Oh, wow. Seems like you guys might like this a little bit more than when I start at 1 p.m. Pacific, right? That's good to know. Okay, this curry is looking amazing. It's only going to get better with time. Let me get a little noodle out. Whoop, they're escaping me. Oh, they feel good. Let me drain them. Drain them, strain them, bring them back. Ooh, gorgeous. I'm going to get a bowl to put these in so that I can put the curry on top. Let's see. This is probably a good size. Okay, good to know. Good. Thanks for letting me know, you guys. Okay, so my noodles have been drained. And they really are cut like spaghetti. They're not flat like most rice noodles I buy. Just so you can see it. And then I'm going to top it with the basil at the very end. Let's get a little scooper. I can use this. I want to just make sure I get plenty of the vegetables. Ooh, yummy. Now, you certainly wouldn't have to use a starch. If you don't want to, you could just serve this in a bowl like soup, right? This is gorgeous. And then let me get a little bit of basil. Wow. My friend Sunny is out of town, and she's the one who loves this recipe so much. And so I don't know what I'm going to do. She's not here to gobble it up. Let me just get a different knife for slicing this basil. Oh, you guys can't see it. Sorry. I'll show you again. I rolled it up like I do, and then I'm just cutting it in kind of like tiny little ribbon pieces. I'm going to switch this camera back. It's a little more centered. Sprinkle a little bit of this on top. We don't need much, but we want enough to kind of like, when I put my fork in it and I twist the noodles, it's going to get a little bit of basil in every bite, right? I have to take a picture of this because it's so beautiful. Will you humor me for a minute? Okay, let's see here. Portrait mode makes everything better. This is gorgeous. It's telling me to move it farther away, so it like gives it that blurry background that I can crop. Okay, if you say so. Okay, the moment of truth. Let's taste it, shall we? It's going to be really hot. And, but really, really delicious. Ooh. Oh, wow. I want to try to get a little bit of the tofu. Let's see. Down so you guys can see it. I want to get a little bit of the tofu. Let's pierce the green bean in there. This is going to be a big bite, folks. I got to let it cool first. Any other questions about the curry before I try it, before we move on? This will keep in your refrigerator for a solid 3 days, okay? So it's a great one to make on a weekend. Serve it once, and then serve it again. You could even make it vegetarian to start, and then add different meats. Anita, I added about 2 teaspoons while it was cooking, and that's it. So I'm cutting that way back. Absolutely delicious. I love it with the rice noodles. Certainly not necessary. I'm going to put some shrimp in this and eat this after class. You could use more lime juice than I did. Guys, there's enough depth of flavor with the fish sauce and the coconut milk that I'm not missing meat or chicken or shrimp. I mean, shrimp will be delicious in it because I have some, but it's got tons of flavor. Oh, this is absolutely one of my favorite recipes. Big thumbs up. Big thumbs up. Delicious. I hope you'll add that one to your repertoire if you haven't tried it before and you want to do something new. Really, really yummy. Okay. Now I'm going to get us ready for the soup. And the way I'm going to do the soup, let's look on my phone and see how I wrote the recipe. I love comparing my recipes to how I'm teaching you, because sometimes, like I said, if I find a better way to do it, I want to teach it to you. Oh, yeah. Celery, thyme leaves, garlic, fennel seeds. Oh, there was fennel. So I do tell you to roast these things. And then I tell you to roast for 20 minutes. And then you add the red onion. Oh, that makes sense. And roast another 30 minutes. So that's getting it super soft. To make the breadcrumb topping, yeah. And add 2 cups of the stock. Okay, I love this recipe. I like how it I like that it has you roast them longer, and it has you add the red onion to the veggies as you roast them. That's just going to give it more flavor, right? So I only used garlic today, but if you use red onion, if you use garlic, if you use shallot, if you want to use any aromatics like thyme leaves, terrific. My only recommendation was that you let the vegetables cool before you put them in the blender, because when you put hot liquids in a blender, guess what can happen? The pressure builds and you can blow the top off of it. You can really hurt yourself, right? I'm only laughing because I've done it before where I've put too much liquid in a blender and made it explode and I've made a huge mess, and it's just a big pain. So we're going to put the vegetables. I'm probably going to do 2 batches of soup in my Vitamix, okay? And I'm going to add some of the stock to it. I'm not using homemade stock today. That's totally fine. You can use vegetable stock. You can use chicken stock, whatever you like. And that's the deal, okay? So I just wanted to show you how easy it is to roast vegetables instead of even having to stand over a cooktop and take care of them before you puree them and make them into a soup. It's one of my favorite tricks for getting lots of nutrients into my diet without having to spend a lot of time cooking. Lori, I love your question about the rice noodles. They last, you could eat them, you could serve them and make a little extra. And if people want seconds, they're fine. But like by the next day, they're weird. So if you refrigerate them, they're going to get weird. So I would make a fresh batch whenever you're wanting to make dinner. Okay. Great question. It helps to ask all of those things. Let me put this away, and I'm going to get the squash and we're going to blend. If anybody needs a break. I could also add, since I didn't add thyme to this one, I might just take this basil I've got right here and blend it in with my squash, okay? I've got a Vitamix here, which is a great blender for getting things really creamy. And like I said, I'm just going to take about half of my squash, so a sheet pan worth, and let's see how much that fills up the blender. We don't want to fill it up much more past half. I'm sneaking and eating it. Yummy. Oh, this is perfect. We'll do 2 batches for sure. Okay. And then this is really soft, the squash and the garlic, so it's going to blend up very easily. I'm not going to need a ton of stock. It's more about how much stock you want for the texture of your soup. So you can make something really thick, more like a bisque, or you can make it thinner, just depending on what you like. I'm going to start with about a cup, and let's see what we think. Okay. This is one of those recipes where I want you to remember, cooking does not have to be hard to be delicious. Yeah, I'll put the whole cup in because I'm going to have more squash too, right? So I can always make it thinner or thicker. All right, can you guys see the blender? Yeah. Let's do this. So it's not hot at all right now, so I don't have to worry about blowing the lid off, but I'm going to keep the tamper in in case I made it all blow up. really nicely on its own. I'm going to get a pot to pour this in so that as we have all of the soup, we can taste it together. And then if I were going to heat it up, it'd be easy to do from here. And if you wanted to do the panko breadcrumbs, you could. If you're not being vegetarian or vegan, you could certainly add crumbled bacon to the top, which my kids love. Okay, let's pour this in. Ooh, yeah, it's really thick. So I'm going to want to thin mine out for sure after the next batch of squash. In you go. I'm probably going to add about 3 cups of stock total. Okay. Here we are. Let's add about another cup and a half or so of stock. Why is that cranky? There we go. I never measure, and so I am measuring for all of you so that I know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to empty all this stock, which is 2 cups, into the measuring. And then I'm going to add a cup of it to start, to puree, and then I'm going to thin it out some more. I guess I added a cup and a half. No, a cup. Okay. Put the lid on again, be safe with that. I love this because it snaps on this lid. Okay, it's really thick again. So let's add some more right now because when I go to pour it in the pan, it's going to be too thick. And I'm going to blend this slowly because there's so much liquid in here. I don't want it to explode everywhere. Good. I like this texture, but we'll see what I think when I combine it with the other one. Okay. Drum roll, please. Let's put it in. This is beautiful soup, you guys. This is such a great recipe for like so many times a year. It's a great holiday recipe. But you can keep this in the fridge for probably up to 5 days, and it freezes beautifully too. So I'll probably freeze a lot of this today. Let's taste it, shall we? Keep in mind, I've hardly added anything to this. I didn't add the red onion. I haven't added any herbs like the thyme. You can add sherry vinegar. You can add lemon juice. So there, you can add some acid to balance out the flavors of it as well, right? But I'm going to keep mine super simple today and then probably mess around with it a little bit later. I'm looking for texture and salt. Oh my gosh, the texture is beautiful. You can taste the garlic. It needs more salt for sure. It's still a little bit warm because of coming out of the oven, and blending heats it up. But I could even go back and add lime juice to that. Lime juice, lemon juice, sherry vinegar. We're talking probably a tablespoon of lemon or lime juice or a teaspoon of the sherry vinegar to start. And you're going to get this really nice zing to it, right? And then making sure it's got enough salt is what's going to keep it from tasting like baby food. Like sweet, sweet butternut squash. So, my kids are going to flip out for that. And they're going to want bacon on it, and I'm fine with that. So I told my son to get some bacon at the store, and I'll add some bacon crumbles to it. And it's something that they could eat all day. Maple syrup, Jenny, is so good. And my friend always says, who's an amazing nutritionist, drape the maple syrup. So she'll add a little bit of maple syrup and then lemon juice to a lot of foods to kind of adjust the balance of flavors. And they play so nicely off each other. So maple syrup would absolutely be delicious. And then the bacon, yeah, right? You can absolutely add half and half or cream. The thing that's so crazy about butternut squash, and I just did a creamy tomato mint soup, it's like creamy tasting without any cream in it. So I love cream. You are welcome to add it. You don't need it. It's already really creamy. And then if you prefer cashew milk or something like that to add creaminess, you could. If you don't use dairy, it would absolutely be delicious in there as well. But think about the spices you could use. You could use star anise, cinnamon. You could roast those with the squash pieces and then just discard them before you blend it. Cloves, all of those warm spices that you use at the holidays would be absolutely delicious with it as well, okay? I just went for as simple as possible today. So what you taste is butternut squash, garlic, good olive oil drizzled on this too would be great. And then bacon for my kids. Those are the yummy things you get. All right, I'm going to clean out my blender because we are going to make the herb dressing to go on this beautiful butter lettuce salad that is so simple but so good this time of year when pomegranates are easily accessible and there are greens everywhere, okay? So please fill up your glass with water if you need. Let me rinse out and refill a couple ingredients. Let me just get my blender ready and then make sure I have all of my ingredients together to make the dressing for the salad, and we'll wrap it up from there. Does that sound good? Our time is pretty perfect. I wasn't shooting for an hour and a half, but it's such a beautiful day. I'm sure many of you would rather be doing would rather take a break and get outside and enjoy it while you can, but it's just always such a treat to be cooking here with you. Okay, I'm going to clean up my mess and we'll start in about 4 or 5 minutes. Yum. Okay. Got this. Cover that. Georgia soup. Gosh, the orange against the blue is so pretty. It's crazy. And then I get fired over my workspace right now. As always, a little bit messy for most. Let's see what else we need. Oh, we need the lettuce. Nuts. I think I have pistachios in this salad as well. I might get some other nuts just to toast for you. And this. set my little workstation. With those. I hardly ever use measuring spoons or cups unless I'm writing a recipe and I want it to be exact for you all, which is a really good habit to get into. Because so many times I'm messing around and then I realize I like what I made. And so I try to write it down right away. Let's see what this ingredient list is, shall we? Butter lettuce salad. Okay. Oh, I need a lemon, Dijon. Still missing those two things. Parsley, tarragon. Ooh, yummy. This is absolutely one of my favorites. Buttermilk, lemon juice, mustard, and minced garlic to combine. Oh, I do have lemons right here. And I have my buttermilk, garlic. I am going to mince the garlic a little bit before I put it in the blender because sometimes the blades of the blender are so high up that they don't really chop the garlic very well. So I'm going to be aware of that so no one gets a terrible taste of garlic, right? Like one big chunk. It is amazing how much garlic I've been using. You know, Bonnie, so for buttermilk, you can make buttermilk by adding lemon juice to milk and letting it sit. You know, they have dairy-free. You could do like a dairy-free sour cream. You could do, it just gives it a tang. You could also use dairy-free, I'm just thinking before I say it, like a dairy-free yogurt, you know, like a Greek yogurt. I know that they're doing coconut yogurts now that a lot of people are loving. So you could use, a dairy-free yogurt, something that's a little bit sour, so not sweetened, right? That's what we're going for with the buttermilk. So let's get all of these delicious ingredients in one place, shall we? I'm going to cut my lemons so I can just squeeze them directly in. And same thing goes for the garlic. And then do I need parsley for this too, friends? Let's just check my, cashew yogurt would be great. Buttermilk, lemon juice, Dijon mustard, garlic, and then I need packed parsley, tarragon. I got parsley. And chives. Okay, I love this. Here's my parsley, tarragon, chives. No basil in this one. Olive oil, salt, and pepper. A really simple recipe, and this will last you a couple days in the refrigerator. So always good to keep in mind if you're wanting to make a salad and or just have like a yummy dressing that people can enjoy it more than once. So let me just chop up a little bit of garlic for us. And then I'm going to get the Dijon, which always adds some flavor, but also adds helps bind things nicely, right? So it helps make liquids come together, even liquids that don't like each other, like oil and vinegar, or oil and lemon juice in this case, and buttermilk. Okay, so I've got my finely diced garlic right there. Finely diced garlic. Nicely diced, finely diced garlic. How about that 10 times? I'm going to get a tablespoon of lemon juice. I'm going to squeeze it just like I did my lime juice. In it goes. Of course you can measure. Don't feel like you don't have to measure because I'm being silly. Hi, Connor. I'm still cooking. I'm going to get a little bit more out of this one. I like lemon. I like tart. And this is a Meyer lemon, so it's less acidic than a typical lemon. It's a hybrid between, I think, a tangerine and a lemon. So it's a little more fragrant, a little less puckery, for lack of a better word. Okay, let me get the Dijon. Hiya. I need a smaller spoon I can scoop this out with. As I already learned once today. There we go. This is a 2 teaspoon measuring, so I'm going to just get generous with it. Okay. Then, how much buttermilk? Half cup? Let's see. I think that's what I just said. A half cup lemon juice, Dijon garlic. And I'm going to kind of combine those things first, and then I'm going to add the olive oil with the herbs. Okay. Half cup. This is going to be delicious. What did I have in here? Nothing scary. There we go. Is Arizona winning?
Got 3.5.
Nice. Lori, Arizona's playing UCLA basketball today. We're up 3 at the half, Connor says. Okay. Let's give this a little blend, shall we? I'm just going to put that towel over the top. So go up, yes. So you can even hear it's not really like chopping. So it's a good thing I minced that garlic. So we're just trying to combine the ingredients there. And now let's add 2 tablespoons each of these yummy herbs and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm going to get a little aggressive. I'll show you how much. A substitute for tarragon is to just use more of the other herbs. So if you don't like tarragon or you can't source it, you could add basil, or you could just do the parsley and the chives. Tarragon is a really common herb used in a standard green goddess recipe. I think it was in the original recipe. And it can go really nicely with chives, parsley, basil. It plays well with others, but it is also probably one of the strongest flavored herbs. And it, actually, I didn't want to add a new session. Sorry. It's one of the strongest, like most identifiable herbs. And so if you don't like it, don't worry about it. Just bulk up on something else. I don't like its stems, right? The stems are a little bit woody. They're a little bit, unlike cilantro or parsley, they're a little bit thicker, actually. And so I take the time to take the tarragon leaves off their stems, whereas with parsley, I'm okay consuming most of the stem. Chives do not stay fresh very long, especially when you buy them fresh, exposed to the air. These little things tend to work better. So unless you're growing them, I recommend these. Hunter, don't forget. Oh, never mind. You found what I was about to tell you. I'm just dicing them kind of coarsely, so all of these can go into the blender and be chopped together nicely. Let's add a few more chives because I really, really love the taste of chives in this dressing. And it's a really nice foil to the tarragon. It's more savory tasting. Tarragon's a little sweeter. Okay, so in they go. Let me use my pastry blender / scraper for the herbs. Okay, put them in my blender carafe. And then if you want this to be really bright green or thick and super herby, you can add more herbs than what the recipe even calls for. It's totally up to you. Okay. On it goes, and then oh, I thought that there was a piece of tarragon on me. I'm going to stream the olive oil in. And then I need to add salt and pepper still. So you can blend this as much as you want, just depending on how large you want the pieces of herbs to be. That should do it. Let me get some salt and some pepper. I'm just going to put this straight in. This is a place where I love freshly ground pepper. And then Himalayan salt. Just to squeeze, like I said, I'm out of kosher salt. It's not because I like Himalayan salt better for this. I was using it for all of these smoothie recipes. And so I'm stuck with it. Okay, let's do this one more time. Just over low. Mine's fairly thin. You can add more Dijon mustard to thicken it up. You could also add egg yolk, which is a great binder. Yeah, a pastry scraper is a great tool. It tastes like an herb garden, and I like it. But you can taste the garlic too. This is delicious, you guys. The total winner. Now let me just talk about the lettuce that I use and why. And if you have any other questions while we're cooking, please feel free to put them in the chat box while I grab the lettuce, okay? Oh yeah, and I'll show you the pomegranate. Okay. Pomegranate trick, and then the lettuce. Connor, I made butternut squash soup. It has, we'll just add bacon to it.
Here you go.
Thank you. We can eat that all day long.
You got these too.
Oh, thanks, sweetie. Okay, we have lettuce, and we'll be done with this. Okay. Was that wing? All wing?
This was the sweet chili one.
Oh, you bought some already?
They're still raw.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cool. My son has asked if I'd make him wings today to watch sports.
Oh my god!
And so he just read the cholesterol, and then I guess he's learning about. You can keep those words to yourself, Connor.
Sorry.
Okay. Butter lettuce, one of my favorite lettuces. It is crunchy, but it doesn't have a very strong flavor. So it takes dressings and vinaigrettes really well. It's just so simple, and I love it so much. And so I'm going to show you how to use it. Here's its core. The other thing I really love about butter lettuce is most of the leaves are edible. You know, sometimes you get into things and the middle ones get really bitter. That's not the case with this. I'm going to move this closer so you guys can see it, okay? And then we'll do the pomegranate hack. I'm just cutting around the core. You could certainly just pull the leaves off. This is just like the most gentle way to do this. So these are the tiny ones on the inside, but they're beautiful. They're beautiful when they're left whole like this too, right? So you'll see these for fancy luncheons where, like, say you put a couple of these on a plate and you drizzled it with the vinaigrette, and then you could add a sliced avocado on it. You could add poached chicken would be beautiful with some of the sauce over it. So dressed in this salad, it's so good because you just get this really beautiful backdrop for the dressing, and then you get a pop of the pomegranate seeds and some toasted nuts if you like, and a little bit of Asian pear or thinly sliced apple. This one was washed really well. I don't know why some producers can get like every leaf washed without opening it up, and then others arrive at grocery stores totally dirty, and you soak it and you salad spin it and you dry it and you still can't get it. This is perfect. Absolutely crunchy, delicious backdrop for other flavors. Love it so much. I love that lettuce. It's almost a little sweet. Okay, I'm going to take these away. I'm going to make the salad in a little bit. I don't even have the right size bowl for it right now. I'm washing so many dishes. But I'm going to do this. And then I'll show you my pomegranate trick. Are you all ready for it? Okay. You may have seen me do this on Instagram already, so you might not be oohing and eyeing, but I saw somebody do it and I tried it and I flipped my lid because you know how if you've ever cut a pomegranate, it just starts bleeding everywhere and it's bright red and it's a huge mess, right? That's fine. And then you want to go get the seeds out and they're kind of like falling everywhere and you're making a huge mess. Well, I saw a woman take a paring knife to the top of it and then just cut down the sides, not entirely through the bottom, but just like scoring the sides. And then she opened it up and it's like it came out in these segments that were beautiful and there was no problem. So I'm going to do it and I'm going to show you again. I did it again the other day when Caitlin was here and she was cracking up because I was so excited. But let's just score it. There are kind of these natural ridges where the pomegranate protrudes some, you know, like kind of like sides almost. So I'm just scoring those. You don't have to do it this way. But I'll show you what I've done here up close before I take the top off. Okay. So this is a really juicy pomegranate. Can you see how I've cut it, right? But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut around the top and I'm going to attach it all. I'm going to cut so all of those touch. Okay. Because it's like basically cutting a lid off of a pumpkin. And then we're going to take off the top and boom, voila. Okay. Are you all ready for this? Prepare to be amazed. Okay, first of all, that just pops out and that's that yucky fibrous part nobody wants. This is such a juicy pomegranate that has so many seeds in it. I'm going to get ready to put them in a container because where do I want to land them, you know? Okay. I feel like there should be that music where you say, it's like pump up music at a sporting event. Y'all ready for this? Okay, so here we go. You're going to pull it back and look at that. It just comes off in a beautiful section. And then you can just kind of pop out the pomegranate seeds. Isn't that amazing? It's so much less mess. And it keeps the juice in the seeds, which is what's so magical about it. Now you could certainly rush this part, but the fact that you're not cutting through any of the seeds to open it up, I mean, it just opens so cleanly, you guys. Isn't that amazing? I love this trick so much. I thought this would be more popular than my mashed potato trick, to be honest with you. But I think my mashed potato trick was a hit because it was controversial. Okay, I'm going to pop the screen up. Isn't it crazy, Bonnie? It's the little things in life, right? So I'm just going to continue to get the seeds out. And there's no bleeding mess of pomegranate juice anywhere because you didn't cut through any of the seeds to get to everything. So I do have this up on my Instagram somewhere. I should make a House of Hacks storyline. What do they call the little circles under the circles on Instagram? Where you can go back and watch things. I should make one just for hacks and I'll put it there because this one is a winner. And you can go back and watch this video when we send it to you. And just sit around popping pomegranate seeds out of things for days and hours. I'm just so impressed with it. I can't stand it. I asked around, like who taught me this? I finally found it, I think. I thought it was a friend, Kale Junkie. I like a lot of her tricks and tips on Instagram. It wasn't her. It wasn't my friend Justin from Food and Wine. It was a random site that had popped up. And I just love it so much. So that's it today, friends. It's always such a treat to hang out with you. Does anybody have any questions? No questions today? Well, it's a pleasure to be here with you. And Nothing else? I can't wait. Oh my gosh, we haven't even revealed what February is going to be about yet for you, but I can't wait to share with you. And if you have any other wellness stuff you want to talk about, I'm going to be getting on Instagram most evenings at 5 p.m. Oh, I'm so glad, Lori. Thanks, Victoria. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Thank you, Jenny. It was such a treat. Thanks, Chris, Anita, everyone. It's always so much fun. Thanks, Robin. Thanks, Fenna. So if you're in wellness, I'll see you on Wednesday night to cook some more. If you're not, don't worry. I'll be back soon. We'll send you an email of what February looks like. And as always, thank you all so much for hanging out with me here. Hi, Craig Barnes. How are you, my friend? And let's do it again soon, okay? Happy Saturday and happy cooking. Go and make something and let me know how it goes. Tag me on Instagram. Send me an email at hello@Amanda Haas Cooks. Let me know how it's going. And I always love hearing from you. Okay, bye, everybody.